Hello Ratbags, this is Jade Plays Games. Welcome back to another Ark Survival Evolved news video. Today we're taking another look at the PvP turret situation that's going to be happening and some changes they've added. As you can tell from the thumbnail, they are nerfing a nerf already. Only 2 days after announcing they were changing significantly how turrets worked on PvP, they are already making extra knee-jerk reactions to try and keep the fan base happy. You guys have been going absolute batshit mental at them on social media and the forums about the changes, saying it's going to be the death of Ark. Ark PvP is going to be dying. It's just the wrong thing to do. It's a big mistake. That is the overall majority feeling on the actual changes that are coming into effect for turrets. If you don't know, they actually started a process where they're going to limit how many turrets you can place in a certain area. According to Studio Wildcard, this is causing massive performance and lag on official servers, predominantly because of the way that people are placing the turrets since the launch of the game. Now, I called bullshit on that because I can't see how it affects just PvP. There is so much lag and so many other problems with the base game on other game modes. But apparently since launch it has been more specific that there has been more lag and there's been more issues with performance because of the way Wildcard made changes with turret placements. So only after 2 days of a half-arsed post on the community crunch, they've actually started backtracking now and are trying to resolve the problems. Don't see how Studio Wildcard didn't realise this might be a big issue, and they should have maybe come out with some of these solutions and fixes alongside their posts to say they were nerfing stuff. As ever, the communication that comes from Wildcard is absolute bullshit. Jeremy Stieglitz trying to be the big hero, telling JX23 we're adding a new heavy turret structure which will mostly compensate for the reduction in numbers of standard turrets. If you go through some of the tweets, they're not the most positive about what he seems to think is going to rescue the turret situation. It's fair to say it seems like most of you think Wildcard haven't got a clue of what they're talking about or what they're doing. Quite rightly, lots of you are pointing out that this should have been resolved during testing, should have been the early access period. The right hand, a big wig at Wildcard, has added to the actual turret situation with a little bit more detail than Jeremy's stupid little tweet. He's clarified it in this way. Here's what's going down for sure. We're getting an advanced auto turret. Now he's tried to make a joke with it about it being called Bob's Corp. It's probably not the best time, but that is the way his humour goes. This is a new turret we'll be introducing along with these changes that will essentially be a bigger, beefier turret, allowing for people who still need that damage density to populate their turret slots with turrets that are much more powerful. We're aiming for about a 4 increase in overall effectiveness and cost of these things, along with disabling their use on rafts, boats, construction costs and ammunition costs would be similar. We opted for a new turret because of a few things. It conveys the power of the new turret clearly without needing to add any new functionality to anything else. It doesn't create a sudden change to balance functionality of existing turrets in any way, and thus rebalances all sorts of other stuff that could potentially break. We're aware we already have done a lot of that, let's not push it further. Existing turrets don't get a sudden massive buff. We can scale the cost maintenance upkeep of the new structures without inconveniencing everyone who isn't pushing these upper limits. If we need to introduce any specific kind of modifications to this new turret, we can do it without impacting anything else. So yeah, and that's why is that. In addition, we're collating feedback that we're getting along the way to develop a better sense of what exploits may exist or severely disproportionately effective tactics might need additional adjustment. For example, stego armor plates are going to have to block less damage from either bullets or turrets specifically. Yeah, even me, a PvP absolute noob, which lots of you have been pointing out on Twitter when I had my little say yesterday, did realise that if they're going to nerf turrets, they obviously have to nerf the Soaker dinos to make them less powerful. Also, one as well is that they're looking at veggie cakes may need a more prohibitive delay on their use in combat, and they're going to add a knockback to either the new turret or both new and existing turrets to offset specific movement speed, plus shield plus rocket C4 configuration may be in order. These are the examples of things that will be seen how they play out and what kinds of impacts they have outside of just the general PvP game. For instance, veggie cakes and Ferrozinos are blah 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 blah. Whatever we decide to act on, I'll make a post about it somewhere before December the 5th. So that sounds reasonable? Is that covering half of what you guys have been complaining about and saying that there needs more to be done? I don't think it really covers all of the dinos that you are saying are soakers and that can take up more of the bullets. But if there are more powerful turrets that do 4 times as much damage, surely that is going to keep it going? Who knows? By the way, 10k units is around 34 foundations long. What I do know is they should have fucking put this information out when they done the post on Saturday. But yeah, as I'll carry on, they should have put all that other information in with this initial post. It would have stopped so much backlash and so much grief. I sometimes think Wildcard want to be the bad guy so they can claim that they're really receptive and ready to listen to people's feedback. Even though they fully know they've got other solutions ready to go, they sometimes hold back on their answers just to get a reaction. Because time and time again they have done this. They have announced stuff and then 2 days later track backed on it or come up with other ways or other solutions that why weren't they put in there in the first place? There can be no doubt about it. It has been massively vocal on the forums and on social media. It is definitely the hottest topic to hit Ark since launch. Many of you are calling bullshit on the fact that it causes lag. Hod Gaming, me and him have had a bit of a discussion on Twitter about it all, and he's been giving me a bit of an education on why it's so important for the turrets on PvP and what it really means. But even in his video explaining exactly some of the changes that are going on, the frame rate is staggered so badly when you're having a raid. It is easy to see why Wildcard have decided there needs to be a change. I don't know about you, but when I play a game, I don't want it to look like I'm playing a really bad version of some clay animation game. Lots of you are saying you don't care about the lag or about the frame rate drops or issues, but it clearly is a problem when you're raiding and you can barely get the screens to jump from one screen to the next screen because of some situations like the turret towers. I'm not saying it's all down to the turrets, I'm not saying it's all down to that one factor. But clearly Wildcard think it's important enough to actually change it and do something about it because it's having such a negative effect on servers. A big criticism that went Wildcard's way was, why are you just focusing on PvP? There is still as many issues with lag and performance on actual PvE servers. Many of you cited the fact that dino animations cause up a lot of problems and issues. Well, Jade has tried defending that here, and I'm going to read out exactly what he says about the dino animations. With the exception of some really large dinos like the Brontos, we disable idle animations on dinos on the server. Idle dinos also tick once every 4 seconds or so instead of every frame. Idle dinos, while expensive, are only expensive in a general sense. Things like their animations have next to no cost on the server, and we use parallelized blah 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 animations, which mean most animations aren't even run on the main game thread. They're much faster. Dino head tracking is client side, not server side. It has no cost on the server. The vast majority of the servers that people play on are very expensive custom built servers with top of the line 8 core 16 thread CPUs running at 4Gs, 64 GB of RAM. We pay out the nose to make sure your servers are powerful. The Ark server also only uses 2 threads on the CPU. This is because the version of Unreal that we built the game on did not support multi-threading parallelization. We've integrated parallelized animation networking, so our networking overhead and cost of animation work are done on a second thread. He's basically trying to bore you to death here with lingo, so we're going to cut through all that bullshit. We do a lot to make the game run as smoothly as possible while still enabling the kind of free-form open world experience that the game was designed to be. Anyway, I'll follow up in the coming weeks about anything that we decided we're going to do for sure. More needs to be done. More needs to be done for performance, more needs to be done for the actual gameplay side of things, fixing things TLC for the base game before they do or add anything else. And I don't think it's just down to turrets. Obviously PvE does have issues. If it's not the dinos that are causing it, there must be something else that is causing problems and frequent disconnects on official servers. But that being said, I still think the game is over reliant on turrets and bullets, and I don't give a fuck. There are only 4, well there's going to be 5 turrets in the game, there are over 100 dinosaurs. More needs to be done to keep people playing the game using what the game is mostly cored about, which is dinosaurs. The game isn't fucking Rust. The game isn't a COD game. You're not there to make bullets all fucking day long, putting them into your turrets. You spend most of your life either raising dinosaurs or for raiding or, you know, trying to get them to ascend. So make the dinos the priority in terms of defense and attack of bases. More needs to be done on the dinosaurs to keep them better in turret mode. More needs to be done so that they've got better range of attack. I'm sure they could implement a system where the kiting wasn't such a big problem. Maybe give dinosaurs a radius range of attack and make them go back to the start every sort of 20 seconds. It very well may be the death of PvP, but I can't see how a game like this can be centered around just that. Now, Hod tried to explain it to me a little bit and saying that there are obviously many other factors about the actual PvP. It's not just turrets, it's not just the bullets. But time and time again, I see lots and lots of videos pop up in my feed. And every time I click on them, it's all about the turret towers situated around that base. The minute you take them turret towers down, you can normally get into a base and you've wiped them out. So yes, I realise turrets are important. Yes, I realise bullets are important. But there needs to be something else added to the game to make them less important. I don't agree with just a turret nerf. I think more needs to be done with the whole game to improve server performance. But I also agree that the game has become very reliant on making bullets and placing hundreds and hundreds of turrets where clearly the game is able to cope with that. So they need to do other things. They need to buff dinos, or they need to nerf the soaking dinos. They need to come up with better range of attack and better AI for the dinosaurs. They need to make the dinosaurs integral to the PvP experience. But that's just my opinion. There are obviously, or there used to be servers where there was no dinosaur taming, and I imagine that was obviously heavily reliant on getting to that stage where you had turrets and firearms and stuff like that. But for me, it doesn't have dino in the title, but Ark Survival Evolved is about dinosaurs. It always has been. When you look at all the core aspects of what the game has in it, kibble, saddles, obviously ways to take dinosaurs down, using like tranquilizer darts and food types, they're all things geared towards the dinosaur. The game is about fucking dinosaurs. It's on the front page of every fucking video picture you see. Dinosaurs. The game isn't about turrets. As ever, I want more opinion from you guys though. I get it's going to kill PvP. I really truly get it. But I also think something needs to happen. And if that's part of the problem, the first part of the problem, then good for Wildcard for looking at it. But clearly they need to do more work in how they actually present the communication to you guys. So, are you going to be playing Ark if they implement these changes? Has anything you've heard today made you think they've got it in hand, or you've got a bit more trust in them, or do you think they're still making mistake after mistake? Give some reasons, don't just shout a load of bullshit in the comments. Tell me some ideas about what you think they should be doing to improve server performance, not just don't remove the turrets. If that's your only answer in an argument, man, you need to work on them skills. Come up with some ideas, come up with some solutions you think Wildcard need to implement to keep the actual PvP side of the game running. No doubt about it, if Wildcard get this wrong and they continue not to put a focus on it and get a balance, I am sure it probably will be the death of PvP. With survival games and Ark in general on a slide downwards in terms of daily average users, they do need to be careful the game doesn't just become a graveyard. But I think it's probably a little bit dramatic to say it's going to be the death of Ark. There's been so many changes and so many things that have happened in Ark Survival Evolved over the last 2 years. Each time it seemed like the world was going to end because of the changes and the nerfs and the way that they were doing things, and each time the game just became stronger. Now that can only last so long, and there really is a negative attitude towards Wildcard which I've been telling you guys about for a while now. So like I said, they do need to be careful and they definitely need to tread lightly. So give me your feedback, tell me what you think needs to change, what you think is the core problem with server performance and issues like that on servers. Even if it's not server related, tell me what it is about the game that you think needs to be fixed the most. So there you go, another news video with opinion. Let me know your thoughts on the whole issue and the matter. If you want to contribute to the discussion, I will leave the link page for this post. You can go ahead, as long as you're signed in you can leave a comment. And let's see how many good ideas we actually get, rather than just people going, you don't know what you're doing. I am Jade Plays Games. I give you the Ark news with opinion. Make sure you subscribe so you've got notifications turned on, and I'll follow up with this story as it plays out and see what they're actually going to implement and what they're not going to implement from some of the ideas they've announced today. Until next time, Ratbags, I'll see you later.